MUSE Automator can be used with third-party nodes downloaded using the Manage Palette function or any nodes that you've created yourself. In the case of published nodes, even though these have been downloaded to MUSE Automator, the processor needs access to the internet to download these nodes directly. In situations where there's no access to the internet or you have nodes you created yourself, provided the node is contained within a single folder, there's also a method to install these directly onto the MUSE processor. So here's my example. I'm using a node I downloaded that generates a random number. In this flow, I'm monitoring a button on the panel which, when pushed, triggers a random number between 1 and 100. This number is then passed to a template node to build a G5 panel command. This command then sends the random number to a button on the touch panel. I'll deploy the project and open a VNC connection to the panel so you can see how this looks. The function is very simple. Push a button on the panel and the random number appears in the window below. Now if I push this to the processor, the instance of Node-RED running on the processor recognizes the new node because there's a dependency set within the project. In this case, the processor hangs while trying to sync the project because it doesn't have access to the internet and therefore can't download the node. If we take a look at the web interface on the processor, you can see that the project's been uploaded but it's unable to run. If I stop the program from running locally and then bring up my panel again, understandably it doesn't work. To get this working, the first step is to manually transfer the node onto the processor, and this is done using a secure file transfer. There's lots of software available to do this. This is just one example that's installed on my laptop. When I set up a new connection, I'll need the IP address of the processor and also the username and the password. Once I'm logged in, the right-hand window shows the root directory of the processor and the left-hand window shows the folder that contains any nodes I've downloaded. The standard location for this folder is in the users folder under .node-red/node_modules. With this particular software, all I need to do is drag the entire folder from one window to the other. And that's it for this step. All the details I need have now been transferred over to the processor. And as I mentioned previously, this method only works when the node information is in a single folder. But we're not quite there yet, as I now need to install the package that I've just copied across. This is done using an SSH connection, and the simplest way to do this is to use the shell function on the processor's web page. The directory access using SSH is slightly different to the SFTP access you've just seen because it starts at the Linux root directory. The directory I'm looking for is mnt/data/mojo. And when I'm in the right directory, I can run a list command and you'll see the new folder that I added a moment ago. From this point, I need to move into the Node-RED server directory so I can run the install command. To install the package, I'm going to execute a command called npm install, and this command needs to reference the name of the folder that I copied into the root. Don't forget that this is one directory above, so I need to include that into the file path. The package only takes a few seconds to install, and after this I'll need to stop and restart the instance of Node-RED that's running on the processor so that it picks up the new details. Now this time when I push the project to the processor, I can see straight away that the project's running. I can also see that from the processor hardware itself as the status LED is blinking once a second, and this means there's a live project running on the processor. Now I'll just stop the project running locally and then bring up the panel, and as you can see, everything's working as expected.